One of the questions that we get about 2020 and FloridaWest is, what was our business activity like? And one of the things that really surprised me is we have probably been busier this year in working with existing companies and their growth and new companies actually considering a location in the community than we have in the last 2 or 3 years. There is a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of projects in the pipeline that we're going to continue to work as we move into 2021, and hopefully we'll see a good number of those projects actually come to realization, which will even be more jobs and more opportunity for our citizens. So when you look at our economy, and as we really sort of tracked what's happened with the pandemic during this 2020 year, our job was to really kind of monitor, all of our industries and business. And what we found is our companies like Ascend Manufacturing and General Electric and International Paper, as well as Navy Federal Credit Union, they were able to continue to sustain and continue to keep people employed. And so that's why it was so important that we continued to support those companies as well as all of our businesses with outreach, with information, to make sure that they were continuing to employ our citizens, which then had the ability to then buy goods and services from all of our other businesses.
I think 2020 has been challenging for everyone, but I think we've focused on what we can do, what's best for our community. And I think that's where we've tried to be. I think our focus has been very deliberate, that we didn't believe there's a choice between a healthy or a prosperous community. We felt like the choice is to be healthy and prosperous. And I think for the most part, we've been able to accomplish that.
There's no reason to slow down. We just continue to look at where we've been, the great things that are happening with downtown, with expansions in our county, with growth, throughout the area. What you don't want to do is lose that momentum and slow down. And so I'm very optimistic and excited about 2021 and the partnerships and the strategies that we've formed. I think you're going to see some very exciting things happening in this next year.
This community of Pensacola and Escambia, this is a tremendously generous, caring, and giving community. And so I'm excited when you marry that level of engagement of the citizens with the opportunities that are coming forward with OLF8, cyber, ST, all these other things that we're doing. I think our community is well positioned moving forward, and I think 2021 is going to be one of our better years ever.
One of the things that FloridaWest is part of our mission and our charge from our city and our county is to make sure that our community is resilient. And from our perspective, that's being economically resilient. And so that's why we continue to grow companies, retain companies, and recruit companies to our community that make products and services sold outside the region. And what we do is we import wealth.
Yeah, diversification is critical. 2010 showed us that. When we had the oil hit the beach, it devastated our tourist sector and it crippled our economy. It's because we had a three-legged stool. We had the military, we had tourism, and we had the hospitals. And you pull the tourism out of there, you got two legs on the stool and it falls over. So we have to diversify, we have to get more manufacturing, more of these jobs that are disassociated with tourism, hospital, and the military. And that way, if we ever have an oil spill or another pandemic or something terrible like that, our economy doesn't go to its knees like it did with the BP oil spill.
I mean, we love our quality of life, we love our retail community, and they mean so much to our community. But we've also seen, during hurricanes and pandemics and those types of things, that our tourism industry and our retail industry, unfortunately, is the first to get impacted. And so if we don't focus on the ST Engineerings and we don't focus on, growing our companies and our information technology companies, then we're a community that continues to be susceptible and we're not as resilient.
I think we're resilient. Of course, everything we've already been through, again, starting with the terrorist attack in December of last year, to Hurricane Sally, whatever disaster or event you want to put in there, BP oil spill, we always come out stronger, and I think it is because of the strength of our community.
Our collab, which is our small business incubator, we really had a good, strong year, really kind of up until October. We were actually beginning to see a lot of our tenants get to the point where they were ready to graduate. So we had a couple tenants actually graduate our facility this year, and we're very excited about that. We're very happy for those companies that have moved on, and this is exactly why the community in FloridaWest invests in growing our own communities and growing our own businesses here. is to basically allow companies to come in, receive the business counseling that they need. We have the flexibility to allow them to grow into more and more spaces that's needed. We connect them with great community resources to make them a much stronger and better company. And then when they're ready to go, we actually kind of help facilitate them finding a location and a place in the community.
It's been a great experience for us the whole way through. From day one, we had an office ready to move in and start working. They took care of everything. I had internet, phones, furniture, coaching, peers, a water cooler where I could ask questions and other people already had answers. The collaboration part of the name really is true. There were other business owners in there that had already been through the startup phase and knew exactly what I was going through.
FloridaWest has been involved since day one. In the Entrepreneurial Center, and it's growing your own businesses with your own local talent. And we've stepped it up this year with a baccalaureate concentration in entrepreneurship at the college, where they'll actually develop a business plan for a new business to have an opportunity to go into the collab prepared and ready to launch their business.
When we look at our collab and our small business incubator for the community, it's been a partnership with Pensacola State since 2008. And without their commitment and dedication to working with us, we wouldn't have seen the growth out of our small businesses and our entrepreneurial type companies, that we've had really over this, over that time period. It's exciting to see what we've done in the past, but it's even more exciting to see what's going to happen in the future with that partnership.
You can't say enough about having the right people at the table and the right organizations working together to make good things happen.
With the hurricane this year, with Hurricane Sally, our collab was actually damaged as well with that storm. We actually had the entire building flood. So all of our tenants had to relocate, so we assisted them with that. Pensacola State has come back in and completely is in the process of rebuilding the facility. So when we move back in, thanks to Dr. Meadows and Pensacola State and their commitment to this program, we're going to have all brand new space. So while it's been devastating from one perspective, we're actually looking forward to almost having a brand new facility for new tenants coming back in, as well as some new programming and some new technology that we never had before. So it's, we always kind of look for those positives out of the negative, and I think this is going to be a really exciting time for collab as we move forward. One of our strategies that we worked with this year with 2020 was information. So we worked very closely with Mr. Robert Hill and his radio station to do a panel discussion where folks had the ability to call in to some of our local experts to talk about, and answer questions about how do I access the programs that are out there. Where can I find the resources to get help? And so that was one of the things that we coordinated because we knew that there was a need.
FloridaWest had a seminar at this radio station where we wanted to find out, well, what are the problems, what are the issues, what can we do to make it much better for black businesses to start getting loans. FloridaWest, you guys made contact with local accountants, people who are in the business area that said, we need to do this, you need to do this, this is how this is done. And we started connecting them with the resources.
As FloridaWest, continues to look to expand its focus and do the things that are good for the community. We're always looking for additional partnerships and looking to support the city and the county's missions. One of the things that we're beginning some early stages and conversations on is how can we bring both entrepreneurship and also training into our community centers. It's been something we've talked about on the board for a while, and so through the leadership of Commissioner Lumen May and Mayor Grover Robinson, we're beginning to have those early conversations of what can we do collectively to do community-based training and education to allow folks to tap into those resources, and then also to do the community-based entrepreneurship. How can we support our minority and small businesses even further than what we do now?
Oftentimes, black and brown and blighted neighborhoods are neglected and they don't have a referral source to go to, and so Brownsville has become that. I often say that Brownsville is the western gate to the city of Pensacola, and so goes Brownville, so goes all of Escambia County, and so It has been a valuable resource. We did a lot of studies and a lot of talk about the economic viability of Brownsville, but there was never any implementation. And so when I said to our staff, to Tanya Gann and to Claire Long, let's stop the studies and let's start the action. And so that's what we've started to do in Brownsville, is just start the action. I think that holistically, we're going to invest in human capital. We want to invest in I want young people to see Robert Hill and know that they can own a radio station one day. I want young people to see Commissioner May and know that I can be a county commissioner, and I want them to see Arlene's Barbecue and say I can own a barbecue stand. I want them to see Leroy Williams and Drill or Claire Long and say one day I can make 6 figures running a human service program for the place that I was born and reared.
Port of Pensacola had a terrific year in 2020 in spite of the pandemic, in spite of a major hurricane and a lot of damage to our facilities. We actually finished the year up in every single measurable for port success. Our revenue was up, our cargo tonnage was up, our lease revenue was up. GE is just blowing the doors off the warehouses, moving their wind energy components in and out of the port. So yeah, we really had a terrific year in 2020. American Magic was a big win. We got global attention for what folks at Pensacola Yacht Club refer to as the world's greatest natural sailing harbor. We have a great bay for sailing, and the folks at American Magic realized that. I think one of the reasons they picked Pensacola is because we really welcomed them with open arms. We showed them that we really wanted them here, that they weren't just someone else coming to town to do some sailing, right? That they were really important to us and important to our community. And we felt they had an important place in helping us revitalize competitive sailing in Pensacola Bay. One of the most exciting things that's happened for us in the last couple of years is attracting Streamline boats to the port. They're going to take 2 partially completed warehouses and finish those out to a high-end center console pleasure craft manufacturing facility. So we think there's a real opportunity there in the boat building industry, which is interesting to me because that is kind of the modern version of an industry that's part of Pensacola's history, right? Boat building and ship mast building was a big part of Pensacola's history in the 1800s and early 1900s. And I think getting back to that, but in a modern way, is a really, really exciting opportunity. You know, the citizens of Pensacola own the Port of Pensacola. It is a city-owned asset. And so we went out to the citizens and said, you know, what would you like your port to do and look like and be for the next 10, 15, 20, or 30 years? And they came out in record numbers to tell us, and we listened to them. And we developed a strategic master plan around those thoughts and ideas. So I think for us, for the foreseeable future, it's going to be to continue to implement that master plan. And what that means is, yes, we're going to continue to work to attract traditional port types of business, but we're also going to work to revitalize those fringe areas of the port, the northeast quadrant of the port that currently is just vacant land, all of the parking lots over where the Pensacola downtown ferry landing is. Those are port assets, and we're really working hard to revitalize those into opportunities to bring the community down to the waterfront and reconnect them with their port in a way that they haven't been connected since 2001.
I think the one thing that COVID has taught us is that nobody has to be in an office to do what they're doing. And I think if that's the case, why wouldn't you be here in Pensacola, Florida?
One of our exciting programs that we launched this year is our new website, which is Cyber Coast Florida. And it's a new website that's specifically tied to our cybersecurity and information technology community, both from the business perspective, but most importantly, it's driven at the talent. The information technology and cyber is really a talent-driven strategy. And there's things that are very unique to our cybersecurity and information technology employees. They're looking for a great quality of life. These employees are sought after all over the world. And so we think we have a great location, a great opportunity with our private sector companies that are here, our federal missions that are here, our quality of life, and we want to continue to keep that talent here. We want to grow that talent, and that's really what that website is driven for.
It's a great segment for us to focus on. We already have a reputation here as the Cyber Coast, and we're growing into a regional powerhouse there. So those are the sorts of jobs that we need to be cultivating because they're fantastic, good paying jobs, and the barrier to entry is not really high.
When we looked at our community and we looked at where our strengths were, we knew aviation was a strength, obviously being the cradle of naval aviation, but we also knew that cybersecurity and information technology was a huge strength of ours. So with the support of the city, the county, our education partners, University of West Florida, Pensacola State College, our K-12 system, really got together and said, what do we want to do to grow this sector in our community?
Pensacola can be a place for tech. We actually have successful tech here. We have a variety of companies that are involved in software and tech.
We have some great companies that are already here, and so we're trying to build upon those to make this more of an anchor as opposed to a satellite region. If you can work from anywhere, why not work from here? You see people trying to leave some of these bigger cities for a strong strength of community and a great place to live like Escambia County.
We want folks to bring their laptop, bring their company, and bring their dog. We want to be one of those communities where you've got that talent that just really wants to be there. And we think we've actually put together a site that really focuses on that.
If you want to improve the income of the community, get skill sets into the community where they can get better jobs. And with better jobs, they're going to get better health coverage. With better jobs, they're going to be able to take care of their family much better. With better jobs, they're going to do a whole lot of things a whole lot better, and it's going to attract more industry. And to make it more attractive, you create a very valuable workforce there. And having a very valuable workforce is getting people trained for these jobs or possible jobs that's coming into the area.
If we can continue to drive in the areas we're driving, and we can continue to improve workforce development, the sky's the limit for the city of Pensacola and its economic prosperity as it moves forward.
FloridaWest have been very, very fluent in terms of providing avenues for people to consider getting into aviation. Very fluid in terms of getting in position for cybersecurity. Very fluid in terms of getting in place for many other training skills that will attract industry and keep them from going out of the area because the jobs are there, but you got to get the skill.
You cannot fill the pipeline with the qualified employees that you need if you don't have a strong education system. A great example, we were talking about ST Aerospace. Well, they have a branded career academy now at Booker T. Washington High School. I'm very proud of that, and that's fantastic. And they're going to create a pipeline of students that can walk out the door with their high school diploma and walk right into a great job.
The young kids in Escambia County, Santa Rosa County, they're very fortunate. We got something unique going on in Escambia County, Florida. Something unique in terms of getting them ready for the future.